1:45 in the morning. I'm going to try and get this done. Okay, the last day I've been working on this little chart to try and predict certain dates or explain certain dates with all the ritual events that have been going on. So I've called it the Golden Key, or I'm probably going to call it the Golden Cross of Lorraine, or the Golden Key of Lorraine, something like that. It will be the video title. Where to start with this? This looks kind of overwhelming, but we've got the Cross of Lorraine here, and we've got a bunch of number sets here that I've put in a table. And the numbers basically revolve around the Fibonacci sequence, and the Fibonacci sequence predicts, well, it doesn't, I don't know if it predicts, it gives you this number, phi. If we take a number such as 7 and divide it by 4, we will get close to phi. If we take 11 and divide it by 7, we will get close to phi. If we take 5 and we divide by 3, we'll get close to phi. If we take 8 and divide by 5, we'll get close to phi. And of course, some numbers, the lower down you go, the further away you get. So you get to a point somewhere around here where you start getting fairly decent results. This is it calculated out properly right here. In fact, it goes on and on and on and on for, I think, forever. It's one of those numbers, a bit like pi, that just goes on forever. And so let me explain this chart a little bit, because we'll reference all this other stuff that I've got up here in a minute as we talk about the whole thing. So this is just n. This just stands for number. This is just your bog standard 0 to 10. Okay, just basic math there. Just counting up to 10. Very good. I can cope with that pretty well. Then we've got the Fibonacci sequence. This is the F here. And for those of you who don't know how the Fibonacci sequence works, we start at 1, we add 1, we add another 1, we add, and then we go back and add to the previous. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, etc. so on. We then have a set of Lucas numbers here, and we're starting on 2, and I'll explain that in a second, but Lucas numbers is the same as Fibonacci, except we just start on 2 instead of 1. So we're going 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 3 is 7, etc., etc., etc. On and on and on. And then we're doing the same here. We're starting at 3, going on with the sequence, and we're doing the same here but we're starting at 5 and going on with the sequence. So that makes sense. It's basically a Fibonacci sequence, just started at 2, 3, and 5. Now I've decided to pull, if you look at charts of this online, they will usually give you a 0 here, and I was like thinking to myself, what is the point of having 0? The reason why I've started with 0 on these two numbers, or at least with this number here, is because, well, number one, the Fibonacci sequence starts with 0, okay, and so does, you know, the regular counting number line starts at 0. So this is why I'm starting at 0 here. 0 is perfect balance. So we're starting at 0. We're starting at 0 again here, perfect balance. Why are we not starting at 0 here? Because this is, we're into the system, we're into the reality here, the dual nature of reality. What we perceive is two separate or separated parts to reality, dualism. Okay, so this is why I decided to start at 2. And I thought, well, there's no point in putting a 0 in front of any of these either. So we started right on the numbers here. Okay, it just makes sense to start like that. Anyway, These numbers here are also referenced back in the Fibonacci sequence here. Okay, so what we've got along this line here, and we've picked out a certain set of numbers here, 1 through to the 29, and before I get going on anything, this little 0 here and this little point and this little point here, they're just in there to aid us later on when I'm talking. They don't mean anything. I just put them in there, and I'll explain why they're in. Well, it'll become apparent why I've put them in there later. Anyway, we got this set of numbers here, and what to say about this set of numbers? This set of numbers encodes all the dates for these events, pretty much, and it also encodes, well, yeah, the dates, but it encodes the, the date, the number of the time lapse between each event as well. So we'll get into that in just a second. I want to just explain this line here. This cross here is perfect balance. This is, we just took the regular number line and we just come straight down the middle of it, which is 5. And so this represents perfect balance. This is why I've put this little mini 0 in here. This is the point of total balance here. Okay? The all-seeing eye, the place where you come from. The holiest of holes. Okay, right here, we've got another set of numbers. And the reason why I picked this set of numbers out is because, well, the number of a man is 6. And so we've got a 6 here. But then we jump to an 8, which doesn't make much sense. We've then got an 18, which we can reference back to the number of a man. This reduces, and factors of 18, or multiples of 9 always reduce back down, and you can add them together to get back to 9 as well, which is the nice special thing about 9. So we've got a 6, or 3 6s in there as well, with 666 added together. I mean, that, all these numbers reference the 666, the 6 of man, the 2/3, 0.666, and we've got the other 1/3 there, the 33. I've talked about these numbers before, and I'm not going to go over them. I think most people understand what the references are. There's no point in me explaining them. They just are what they are. Anyway, so this is the number of man, and these all sum out to 88, and these all sum out to 55, and then we'll get onto these numbers here in a minute. This little mini cross that I've got going on here, if you see 1 3 4 1 3 4, we've got a little mini cross going here as well. This all sums to 16. I just put the sums in. This whole line here sums to 73. You might see these numbers popping up if you're looking at this kind of stuff. So I've got perfect balance here. Well, let's just get into these dates, and most of it lies on this line here. And we don't really, for the most part, need much of this. And we don't really need much of this either, but it's just some reference points here, You might see 58 a lot. I see 58 a lot, and I see 85 a lot. And it's referenced a ton, 85, 1985, Back to the Future, Where have I been seeing 50? I can't think off the top of my head right now where I've seen, but 58's all over the place. And of course we've got 2020 right now, and all the 20s. And so it's going to become apparent just how interesting this is. So I had to pick a date to start. Well, of course, we've already got the reference of 2001. But where do I put 2001 in here? Well, what I've done is I've said that 9/11 is actually 7/11, and so that 2001 is referenced. This is the 2001 date right here. This 7 is coming down to here. Okay, this is 7/11 right here, and I'm just going to start with 7/11, and I'll work both ways from it. So we've got this 7, and we've got the 11, but with this date, everything is going to reference back to this perfect balance point of 11 here. So we can take this 18 here, and we can add those two numbers together and get a 9. So what we've got is we've got a 9/11. And this whole thing, well, I mean, I'm just going to be going backwards and forwards here, but this whole thing is a September date. And the reason why I come to why it's a September date, this is the time circuit dates that were on Back to the Future, September, October, and November, that show up on the time circuits. So we know this is September, and we know that September is numbered for both the number 9 and is 7. And so we have September, and we have the same with October, the 10th month, but written as an 8, and the same with November, and the 11th month, and written as a 9. I'm sorry it's getting late, and I'm going to be, struggling here a bit, but I want to get this video out, especially before this upcoming date. So we know this is September. We know this has a dual meaning here, and I'm going to stick with September being, or 9/11 being 7 for September. And you'll find that these are also, these months are also sort of coincide with the lunar month as well. So it's actually more or less named for the lunar month. It's not strictly true, but I came across that and I really haven't looked at that, but I did come across it in some Chinese stuff. So anyway, we know we've got two meanings behind the months that happen here. Well, there's other meanings behind these months, because during these months we're going through a point where we come to Libra, which is perfect balance, right in the middle of this actually. So we have Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio transitioning through this period. And this all has to do with rebirth. The Virgin Mary, Virgo, or Diana, whichever way you want to look at it, we've got this thing giving birth to a balanced man at a 0 point. This 101 event, which is what every one of these events have been, is a 101 event. You've got 9/11, which ended up being what was imprinted on people's minds were 2 towers. I know there was 3 that went down, but there was 2 towers imprinted on people's mind, and ground zero. The Hoover Dam, if you stick it in Gematria calculator, you will come up with 101. Dam also comes up as 18, so you're going to start seeing where I'm going with this. Anyway, so I've got the 7/11, and interestingly, we can pick some numbers out around 7/11, like the 9 that's interchangeable. We can also pick out the 3 towers that fell. We can also pick out what can we pick out? The four planes. So we can start picking out some numbers that are around this 7 as well for 9/11. But everything's going to reference back to this. So the 7/11 will always reference back to this. And so we can pick this number here out of that as well and reference a 9 into that whole thing. I don't know, but if you start looking at this, you'll get what I'm talking about. So I decided, I said, well, what came before? What was there before 9/11? or 7-Eleven. What came before that? And I was thinking, I'll look at Princess Diana again, because I've been looking at Princess Diana because there's a lot of references to do with the Hoover Dam with Princess Diana, with like William and Harry's names, you know, for starters, and the fact that she's the moon goddess. And if you look at all her burial stuff, you'll start seeing a lot of symbolism with ovals and the Back to the Future clock tower in the background of where she's buried, and the Bud Light, what I call the Bud Light Diana Memorial in Hyde Park. So you'll start seeing all these references to this. Not to mention just her, I think she got married in 81, and so you'll see a ton of references to all these numbers here. Anyway, what is Diana? Diana's the moon goddess. Well, the moon goddess can also be the triple, well, it is the triple goddess. You have the maiden, the mother, and the old crony, the crone. And so I think we could safely say that Diana was probably this middle portion. But we have 3 different entities within one. You can go and look that up. So we're going to start here with Diana with the 3 different entities. So the 3 represents the triple goddess. Now from that point on, now hang on a minute. When did she die? She died on the 31st. So we're going backwards here, but we're going to 3 and a 1. We've got the 31st, and it has to be the 31st. It can't be the 13th because it doesn't work in for Virgo. But Virgo starts around in the, I think in the middle of August, I don't know, sometime in August. And so we have to be at the latter part of August for this thing to work. So we've got Diana here. We've got the 31st when she died of August. Well, how am I going to get August? Well, 1 plus 3 plus 4 is 8. We've got an 8 here. And this is actually, what's nice about this is actually mirrored again here. So I don't really need this cross here, but it's mirrored right here again, which makes me think of an 8 when I see some numbers mirrored. So anyway, we're going to pick out an 8. So we were into August. Well, August, it has to be August because we've got to go backwards from September here. So we're right at the end of August, and we're referencing Virgo, the Virgin Mary, the mother, and that's Diana. Okay, so that's our first event, her death. So we've got to move on from this death. So we've got her death here at the 3. Well, let's move on 4 years. Where do we get to? We get to 7-11 again, 9-11, and we get to 2001. We've added on 4 years here. Don't you see this? So we've added this 4 years on. So I've just talked through the 9-11. You know, we've pulled this 9 over. We can pull this 9 up, whatever we want to do. But this month here is named for 2 things, and it's named for the moon as well. Okay, so I believe that the 7 is more of a reference to the moon, but we all think of it as the 9 because we're pulling that from our reality, from man. I don't know, maybe I'm not making sense here, but anyway, we've gone 4 years to 7-11. Well, now we need to jump again to the next event. So we're going to jump again. So let's jump 7 years this time. So we're going to take 2001. We're going to jump 7 years to 2008. And I don't know if you remember what happened in 2008, but we had that kind of stock market crash, and the housing market thing happened then. I think it happened then. Hope that's right. But anyway, so we have that big, and that's a fictional event. You know, that, I mean, of course it affected people, but this isn't like hardcore physical. And I know it physically affected people, but it's just a made up story that caused that all to happen. So I don't know if that's the right way of explaining that, but it's not like something massively physical happened there. So then we're going to jump on another 11 years. Well, we've gone 7. We've just done that jump 7, and now we're going to jump another 7, another 11. Sorry. And so we've jumped a total of 18 years. Well, we've jumped this total here of 18 years over to 2019. Another fake, well, I call it a fictional event. You know, somebody just said that this thing existed and everybody believed it again. 2019, China is when the outbreak supposedly starts. So we've got the corona here. I hope you like my little drawings. So, great, we've got the corona started. Well, we've got a problem. We've just jumped 7, we've just jumped 11. Now, if we're going to go to the next date, we've got to jump 18 years. Well, I don't think we're going to be going 18 years. And because I'm going to tell you about these dates, these sort of time spans here in a minute. Why I don't think we're... In fact, let's talk about why I don't think we're going to be going 18 years from this date to the next one. 2001 through to here, through to the Golden Gate Bridge, which I don't know if that's going to be the Golden Gate Bridge, but I think 2030 is the reference date. Why do I think that? Because if you look about stuff about the moon, a lunar cycle is 33 years. That's how long it takes for sort of the moon to reset and come back round to the same position. You know, it kind of changes every year. It's kind of like its little mini procession there. So we've got 33 years it takes for the lunar cycle to carry out, which is very interesting because we have a 33 here, part of the control of man. There's 33, part of the number of a man. You know, I mean, the moon does affect us. You know, there's no doubt in that, and it does affect nature, physically affect nature. Well, if we believe in tides and so forth and so on. So, from Diana, from the moon, we're going to count 33 years, which will bring us up to, from 97 to 2030. That's where we get to, 2030. An interesting number, the 23 referenced, you know, and other nefarious things. Skull and crossbones and all that kind of good stuff. So 2030, great. We've got to 2030. Well, there's another little reference in here, and I watched a guy and he was going on about copper this, copper that, and Lincoln pennies, and he was making some links as well, but he's not making the links that I'm making. Yes, there's an alchemy link there, and yes, there's definitely a penny link. But the penny link I'm making, I don't know if you've seen that penny. It's the Union Shield penny. Came out in 2010, no doubt, a reference to this whole date. And we've got the crown on top of the shield, which is the dam, and this is the corona, and that's on the back of that penny. And so from this point on to this point on here, we have copper referenced. And I don't know if you ever saw that Nebuchadnezzar statue that everybody goes on about. Well, that was the legs that fell, the steel legs that fell in I just call it 9/11. Well, here's the body. Here's the lower part, and this lower part of the body is actually bronze. And then actually we're kind of missing, you could call the dam kind of an amalgamation of the lower part, the bronze part, and then the upper part, which is more silvery, and then we get to the corona, which is golden at the top, which could also be the Golden Gate Bridge here. And funnily enough, the Golden Gate Bridge is actually painted orange, which is more of a reference to copper, I think, than anything else. So we've got these references to copper, and we've got a ton of references to pennies. And pennies come from England, and so if you look at, I've shown this in another video, but if you look at the English penny, it has a portcullis, that gateway we're trying to get through, with a crown on the top. There's this penny, which is the dam that we want to be coming out of. You know, it's another porthole. It's another portal. It's the fictional system where we want to come out of. We want to come out of that dam. Well, where am I going with this? That's where we need to get out of. So we're at this point here. Okay, we've jumped. We've done these 2 jumps, and so now we don't want to jump 18 years. I don't think, because this reference to copper. There's also another reference to copper here. Because we're dealing with perfect balance here, and because this is Libra, if you go to the opposite side, I'm pretty sure it's the opposite side. Hopefully this is the right sign for. I should have probably spent a bit more time looking this back, checking all this stuff. But if you go to the opposite side of the zodiac, I'm pretty sure we're in Aries, which is the ram, which is, funnily enough, actually, we've got a V there for the dam as well, and also for the ovary, the womb. Well, it's all interrelated, but we've got a reference to the ram and Abraham. Okay, the ram, Abraham, Lincoln on the penny. So you've got this Abe link, the Lincoln link again, which is links to Cologne. I've done this in my other video, and Lincoln references Cologne Cathedral, the original Twin Towers. I'm sorry, I'm just going so slow here. I'll probably have to redo this video and make it a bit better. But so anyway, we've got Abraham referenced at the opposite side. You know, the equinoxes at the opposite side of things. The balancing point. This is the balancing point. The equinoxes is the balancing point. So yeah, we've got Abe Link. Don't blink, Abe Link. Don't blink, you might miss this. So this penny reference keeps coming up. Has the penny dropped yet? Even maybe that's the reference to the penny dropping. The penny is, funnily enough, the control system. You know, the pen is mightier than the sword. This is what all the rules and regulations are written in the legal system that's controlling you. The pen. The pen is the pen that you put the animal in to contain it. The penitentiary to contain the man. There's just so many pen references and penny references. Penny Lane. Go watch Penny Lane. Go watch the video, the original video of Penny Lane. Even in the lyrics there's stuff. But we've got the 4 horsemen in that video. We've got the roundabout, which is not a roundabout. It's a bloody triangle roundabout. So it's not round at all. It references the dam. In the middle of the roundabout, there's a bus stop that looks like the back of the bloody White House. And the White House is the two-faced. It's the double faces, the 2 towers, the Twin Towers, the reference to duality. You know, look at this. Look at these 2 things here. Come into double figures here. My sums come into double figures. It's the duality of reality. So, you know, Penny Lane, no doubt, we've got the bloody White House there, and we've got a reference to this whole thing. It's just unbelievable how deep all these references go. So anyway, as an attempt to move on, we've got this 1 year here, so we're going to move on a year, because this is kind of a fictional event here, and this is kind of a fictional event, and you can probably put these other bang bang events in here somehow, but I didn't think they were important. Not as important as the ones we're seeing here. So we're adding on a year. This is Neo being born, you know, or the one that has to be born at this point here. Anyway, we got to get a 1 in. So I put this little point here so we can take this 1 and we can use it as our date, our year to move on. Because we are in the middle of the number of man. Okay, this is when the man's, you know, these kind of these two things kind of want to overlay on each other. So this is kind of when the man's got to be reborn. So we're going to go a year, 1 year here, and then we're going to take part of the next event here, and we're going to sum these two, and we're going to go on 10 years to 2030 with these two numbers here. What we do with the 9, I have not got a clue. Do we add the 9 on for some kind of random little offshoot of something? I don't know. It's kind of left over. As was this stuff here as well. We kind of didn't really use that. We started with the 4 and we've come to 7, 11, 1, and then the sum this together here to do our last little jump, our last little quantum leap. Why do we have to go to 2020 with 1 year here, Dan? Why do we have to go to 2020? Right, well, we're only 1 column away from perfect balance. So that's the first thing we've got to do. You know, this jump's only 1 column between the two balancing legs, if you like. Why 2020? Well, again, it's perfect balance again. 2020. It's the only date in all this lot that is balanced. 2020 is balanced. What's nice as well is we've got a 20 here. So a balancing. This is perfect balance, so we could take a 2020 from there. 2020. Great. We could call that the 20, or we could call it the front 20 or the back 20. I don't know. So anyway, so we've got this 2020 date. Let's just finish off the dates, and then we do the 10 years, and we get to 2030. Wow. I've just coloured in this red. I've coloured this one in red, and I've coloured this one in red. 1, 2, 3. This is the 3 major events that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm pretty sure of it. It's just all guesswork, but you know, this is what my guesswork's coming up with. First event. So this is iPet Goat. This is iPet Goat 2. And I don't know if we're going to come out with an iPet Goat 3 at some point. Who knows? I don't know. You know, what would have been a really nice ending to this whole lot of nonsense would have been something, instead of them blowing something up or knocking something down or doing some kind of radical event. Wouldn't it be nice if they'd done something like just actually painted the Golden Gate Bridge actual gold instead of that orange colour? If they'd actually paint it gold, wouldn't that be a nice kind of ending to this? But anyway, I digress. So we've got the 3 main events. Notice that Diana's not in the events and these other 2 fictional things aren't in the event. So we've got this event, the dam event, and what I don't know if this is going to go with this. I kind of think it's going to be a separate thing. But anyway, and then we've got the 3rd event. So we've got 1, 2, and 3 referenced. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd event referenced in the date. We've also this 10 here as well. I also want to say is a completion number again. So this will be the completion of man being born now and making it to the Golden Gate. Hopefully. That's why I say it would be nice if this was just got painted or something, or the or there was kind of a positive event here. I don't know how you do a positive event that messes something up. I don't know. Anyway, painting it gold it's a nice thing. But let's get into the dates of the actual events themselves. What's interesting about this 2030 date is I looked up because Black Friday is one of those dates I'm like, there's a reason why they named that date Black Friday. I mean, they could have come up with anything that was nice, but they decided on Black Friday. Well, I thought, well, I'll look up 2030, see when it falls on 2030. No doubt it falls right here. Okay, it falls on the 29th of November that year. Well, what's so special about this, Dan? Well, come over here, and the 29th of November, as I said, we're referencing back to this, but as we always reference back to this middle point here, the dates themselves, the groupings, 7/11, 11/18, and 18/29, and I've written them up here so you can see them a little bit easier. So these are the dates that people know or are going to know the things by: 9/11, 10/10, and 11/29. But the hidden date, the hidden numbers behind those dates are right here. We've got a grouping here, we've got a grouping here, and we've got a grouping here. 3 sets of groups, 3 sets of 2, 3 sets of 2, the 23. Reference again in the finale. So this November is really actually an 18, which we can do back down to sum back down to a 9/29. So although people will call it 11/29, the real underlying meaning will be lost, you know, or won't be known. Let's put it that way. So why the 10/10, Dan? Well, for the middle rebirth ritual, you see, I'd been stuck on 101 for a while, and I thought, oh, we're going to see it at the start of October. And I thought, oh, that's a really good possibility, because 101 comes up a lot over the Golden Gate Bridge. That's highway or Route 101 or something, 101. In front of the Hoover Dam, we've got 11, Interstate 11 maybe. So, and also, actually, interestingly enough, 93. The Golden Gate Bridge in this year will be 93 years old, I think. I looked up, and in front of the Hoover Dam is Highway 93. So we've got these two really referencing each other. And as I said before, Hoover Dam is 101 in Gematria, and Dam is 18. So this is really well referenced. I haven't really done a bunch of Gematria numerology with the Golden Gate Bridge yet, but I probably will look at it eventually. But anyway, I'll tell you what else is referenced with Back to the Future. This is the final thing for Marty to go across. When he comes across the bridge that doesn't exist until the future, this is the bridge he goes across. Go look at the film. He comes across the Golden Gate Bridge right at the end there, and the time machine is destroyed. The bridge remains intact. Hopefully we're going to see something else come across the bridge and be destroyed. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll have some ceremony going across there and it'll be a silver something or other. Maybe an Elon Musk van, or, you know, one of them pickups that he's got that's a knockoff of the DeLorean type with the stainless steel and the hard lines and all the rest of it. I think that's a complete reference to the DeLorean. It doesn't look like the DeLorean, but the fact that it's stainless steel and it's, you know, all grey and very angular, yeah. But you know, maybe we see, I don't know, something other than the actual bridge being destroyed would be nice. But yeah, Marty comes across it in Back to the Future right at the end. That's the finale there, the end of it all. Number 3 finished. So I don't know what else to say about it really. This is pretty self-explanatory, but the 1010. The reason why we go with 1010 is because we're talking about perfect balance here again. And we've also got a 55 here and a 55 here. I love it. Which sums 10 and 10. And you know, you can start putting in you know, we've got an X here. If we start looking at Roman numerals and stuff, and you can start adding in tons of other stuff, but I just didn't want to overcomplicate it. You know, it just as simple as possible. You know, we can start looking at copper and what copper does. Copper turns green over time. The illusion is the green as it oxidizes. You know, it gets that film on. You know, what we want to do is we want to remain sparkly and shiny and new. You know, I don't know. If you look at some of the electron shells of copper, I can't remember what they are, but you know, 18 and 8 are in there, and it's all referenced. You know, it's all referenced. And of course, what we're seeing at the minute is the removal of cash. And what's the number one? You know, the first thing that we have when it comes to cash is the penny. That's where it originates. You know, that's the first whole number that we have. I know we occasionally have half pennies and all the rest of it, but that's the first whole number in the monetary system that we're seeing that they're trying to get rid of now. Is Black Friday, November the 29th, going to be when they move over to completely electronic currency? Maybe that is the date that will stick in everybody's mind, the day that money was removed from the system. Black Friday. It's a nice little story, isn't it? You know, we've got the penny reference, and then penny is gone. Also, I'll tell you what else was nice about that little reference there, is the first postage stamp, the penny black. I mean, just little references like that. I'm just, you know, that's just off the top of my head right there now. You know, just little references. You know, maybe that's what we're going to see. Maybe nothing's happening to the Golden Gate Bridge, hopefully. And of course, I've said this before. If you look at this, what I'm thinking is going to happen with the dam is the top's just going to knock off of it. I don't think there's much downstream of the Hoover Dam for at least 50 odd miles, so they've got plenty of time to get people out of harm's way. And I'll tell you what else was funny. I was speaking to my dad today, and he said, "Oh, you ready for the meteor showers?" And I'm like, "What are you going on about?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, tonight." And I think that he said the height of it was tonight, and I thought, oh, that's, you know, wouldn't surprise me if a meteorite comes down, blows the top part off, which would be the crown, and then we have a little bit of an overflow. And I've said this before, you know, and it's the rock of God, you know, I don't know, come from outer space, supposedly. It'll be a bloody missile, but that's what they'll say. It was a meteorite. And I can't speak, sorry. And, you know, what's right next to what is right next to the Hoover Dam? Bloody Mount Wilson. And isn't, you know, Wilson is Goldie Wilson in Back to the Future's referenced. I'll tell you, there's some other stuff in Back to the Future I'll have to do a video on as well. Especially when Goldie Wilson's doing his hover conversion bit. But there's tons of references right there. Hanks with his volleyball Wilson on is it Castaway? that's all about the man being reborn, that film. And a lot of Hank's stuff references this whole thing. That's why they had him with a bloody typewriter with Corona on the front of it and all the rest of that story. So anyway, this idea of the penny going, Black Friday is going to be the day when we lose currency. So we might not see this here. This might jump and be with this, actually, this whole thing, because when you see it in films, these two are together. I think of Superman and what's the one with the rock in it? Again, the rock that's going to hit the dam. What is that one? San Andreas. And also, there's a slight A View to a Kill, when the lake drains and they end up with the blimp on the bloody Golden Gate Bridge. So this, quite potentially, the Golden Gate Bridge, I'm wondering if it's going to be lumped in with this. I've put it down here just because I didn't really know what else to put here. But just thinking about it now, with the removal of money, I think this might be the date, 2030, when everything goes digital. Black Friday, penny black, penny gone. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. There's a lot of Lincoln references with Cologne Cathedral, the Twin Towers. We've got references with Princess Diana, the Hoover Dam, Harry, William Henry Hoover that started the Hoover Company, and Diana with William and Harry, which is William and Henry again. References to the Hoover Dam. It's everywhere. That control system, that black monolith, the monolith that sits in the town center with the two faces, with the clock face on it. It's the control system. And what we're dealing with here is a rebirth event for the man, for those that want to be reborn. This is the cross. This is the cross that we really need to deal with right here. This cross right here. This point right here. Across there. This is where we need to get to. That where my cursor is right now. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about it. I think I've covered everything. I didn't say anything about this. This is the only thing that I was having trouble with. Where is the reference to the number of a man in here? And interestingly, if you just draw your 6 and 9 correctly, with a little bit of a back wave in it, you can actually join those two together and actually make an 8. It's like what's cool about the 8 here, it's like an inverse yin and yang. You've took the 69 and you've put them back to back instead of face to face. Interesting, isn't it? I just thought that was cool. I don't know if anybody else has ever done that or what. I just was messing around, and I came up with it. I'm sure that has been done somewhere before. Somebody can tell me who's done that before. Somebody's done it, I'm sure of it. But it's like a reverse yin and yang, which is great because this is really, a reference to. I'll tell you what else is interesting. Well, anyway, it's a reference to balance again, and time, and infinity, etc., etc. But all things that we have to deal with. All these things are all things that we've got to deal with in life. This 88, if you look at radium, created by Madame Curie, Mercury, which is down here again. The moon and Mercury is the same thing here. I forgot to write it on here, but the moon and Mercury are down here. This 88, sun's down in here. Forgot what I was going to say now. But yeah, radium, found by Madame Curie, Mercury, Madame Curie. It's interesting that there's sums here. So this is Ra, R-A. Okay, I don't know. I should have probably looked up what 55 was on the periodic table, but somebody can put that in the comments maybe. But yeah, this is the man, Ra, what you're trying to be. This is Horus. And you know what we've got Pence with Trump right now. And what's interesting is we've got, what's her name? I can't remember it, but her surname's Harris. Maybe a reference to Horus and Horizon and, you know, Skywalker going across the sky, you know what I mean? Maybe she's going to be the new president. I can just see it happening. I'll tell you one other thing that's interesting though, is this 10 years here. I can see us, a lot of people have been mentioning Civil War, and you know, somewhere in here, I know I've written it in 10 again, Red October, Russian Civil War time referenced, and we have this constant reference with Trump. Of course, Trump is copper, he's orange, and the constant Russian reference with Trump as well. So all these references are in here, you know, and they're all in my other videos, so you can go watch them. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I think I've covered everything. I hope I have. Another nice thing about 29 is a lunar month is roughly 29 days. It's 29 and a half. So when you look at lunar months, they usually do 28 days, you see, and then add in a day here and there where they need to. But interesting again, you know, another, you know, reference to the lunar, slight reference to the lunar. But anyway, hope you enjoyed, and what else to say? That's it. Yeah, that'll have to be it. I'm trying to think what I've missed. I'm just looking through everything real quick. Yep, done. All right. The 10. Oh, hang on a minute. Did I talk about the 1010 and how you get to the? Hang on. No, stop. Don't go nowhere. Hang on. I know you want to like and subscribe and comment. Hang on a minute. 1010. How do I get to this known date? How do I get to this date, Dan? Well, because October is actually a 10, this 8 in here is referenced with the 10 of October. Okay, so 8 and October 8, and the 8 and the 10 is referenced in here. So we've got the 10 here, and this is, of course, the 10 as well. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know, you can get to the 1010, and also the 11 is the 1010, because, you know, when you do numerology, zeros just don't really count. So, what's nice about 1010, when you knock them zeros off as well, is you're back to the 11, which is the main reference point again. But I do want to, you know, say that these dates come in pairs here. 7/11, 11/18, and 18/29, and then you can get your dates from there. The dates that people will see, and also what's in here as well is the jumps that we make between. So the 4-year jump, the 7-year jump, the 11-year jump, and I had to fudge it a little bit here, but the 1-year jump, and then the 10-year jump to completion. Great. Hope you enjoyed, and that's it. Catch you on the next one. Bye.